So first off, I'm going to be showing you a drawing technique and how you can incorporate drawing or illustration into your plexiglass artworks to make them more unique and interesting to look at. So what you'll need for that is obviously your plexiglass. You're going to need some books to do some drawings from. You're going to need some transparency film that you use for overhead projectors, and I'll explain why you'll need that. And you're going to need your black permanent marker or Sharpie. So all you do is, I've taken an image from this book. I've printed it out onto overhead transparency film, as you can see here, and then it's just a matter of taking your cut plexiglass and putting it on the image where you'd like to draw it, and then using your marker it's just a matter of drawing it. And that's pretty straightforward and simple. Now the reason why I'm putting it on transparency film is because one thing to note is you can think about drawing different parts of your image on the front of the plexiglass and on the back. With this example, I've drawn everything on the front of the plexiglass. But for this example, I'm going to draw, say, this area here, and this area I'm going to be drawing on the reverse side of the plexiglass. And what that will do is it does create a slight 3D effect. So to do that, you obviously have to turn your transparency image over to get the reverse, and then the same with the plexiglass. You just twist it over on the reverse side and line it up accurately, and then you start drawing on the reverse side, and I'll show you what that looks like as we go along. Okay, so as you can see, this black area is where I've just drawn on this side of the plexiglass. So when you turn it over, you get it. There's a bit more depth in it, in the artwork, and you don't really see it. You can't really tell on camera that well, but when you actually see it when you do it yourself, you'll realise that you've created some depth. And so it's just a matter of playing around and layering things on different levels, and that really creates interest in this drawing and in the artwork. Okay, so the next step is the fun part, well, the beginning of the fun part, and it's basically you're going to start colouring in your image. Now you can use your selection of different types of permanent markers and Sharpies to do this. You don't have to fill in all of the areas, because you want to sort of leave some areas unpainted so you can sort of blend them into the background. But so what I'm going to do is that's going to be my front, and then I'm flipping it over, and then I'm going to start colouring in the bones with my Sharpies, just like I've done with this one. And you can colour in as much or as little as you like, and you can use all different colours, and you know, really let your creativity shine that way. So as you can see now, you can see that where I've painted on the back, which is the white and the gold, and when you turn it over, the skeleton really does stand out, as you can see. So experiment by you know, painting on the back and the front, drawing parts on the front and parts on the back to get a layered effect, and you know, spend some time and it'll really pay off. Something else you might like to consider is actually adding text and that sort of thing to your images to make them more interesting as well. I find that adding text with plexiglass works really well, and so for example, I've added to this one, I've got a bone to pick with you, beauty is on the inside, and I'm starving, let's eat. So you can sort of, you know, add some quirky things to your plexiglass artworks. So when you're doing them, consider what you might like to say or do. And normally in most painting, I'm not a big fan of adding text, but in this particular medium, I love it, and I think it adds to the effect of the artwork. So that's just something else to consider.